Hi guys, welcome back to Life Unrenovated. I'm Amy. Today's episode I feel like is one that is really going to resonate whether you're sober curious. I'm sitting down with Kim today and we're talking about her sobriety journey, the raw side, what life looks like when you choose a different path. This isn't about getting it right, it's about real life. So Kim, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm
Okay.
excited to be here
Yeah.
to share my little journey, I guess.
So
A
excited.
journey it is.
So this is the first time Kim and I have ever met face to face.
Which is so funny because I feel like I always talk to people on social media and I've made so many friends through like socials.
It's so random, isn't it? And it's like, oh, I did actually see you one day at the cafe.
Yes, but then we were both like, was that actually?
Yeah, and I walked past and I was like, hi. And you were like, hi. It was like we knew each other, but then we were like, shit, was that it? And then I like messaged her straight away and I was like, was that you? And it was.
I feel like I've done that to so many people as well. You kind of second look, you're like, wait, is that person that I know on socials?
And then I think I looked back and I saw that you had honey.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then,
That's probably the giveaway.
Yep, I saw it. So, yeah. Do you want to tell us a bit about you and what you do and your journey?
Okay, so I am originally from Melbourne. I'm 35, turning 36 this year. I moved up to the Gold Coast around 2 years ago. I have been trying to, I guess, grow in the UGC space the past 7-8 months. So working for myself and doing content creation, which I love the flexibility that it gives me. It'll be almost 6 years ago now. I made the executive decision for myself to go completely sober. Just made that choice. Thank you.
Crazy. 6 years.
Yeah, it is crazy, especially
what an achievement.
Looking back to when I first started. I could never imagine the bigger picture of that.
Yes, true.
Because I think in the early stages, you're so focused on like just getting through one day at a time.
Yeah.
That thinking, 6 years, that's such a long time.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, it flies by because it's not my main focus on life. I feel like it kind of becomes a part of your lifestyle and you. And I don't know, I always say to people, I feel I like reprogrammed my brain somehow to not connect with drinking or drugs and that kind of thing.
Yeah. And that's a big thing to do, I think, especially in this day and age. It's very socially accepted or a standard that if you're at a party with your mates, you drink. Or if you're going out to dinner, you have a cocktail.
It's funny because I've met quite a few people from like other countries overseas and they're like, there's nothing like the Australian drinking culture. Like I think as well, everything over here evolves around drinking.
Yeah.
Like sports games, if you're sad, drink. If you're celebrating, drink.
Yeah.
The races, just everything is associated with that. I do think it's becoming slightly more normalized and more common that people are going sober and are choosing not to drink. But I feel like 5 years ago when I kind of started this journey, it was definitely very taboo. I was probably like one of the only people, even before I got sober, I associated sobriety with boring. You don't like to do anything. And I feel like I'm definitely not a boring person. I am a bit of a grandma every now and again. But I think that's just getting older as well.
Yeah. And also it's a bit of self-respect, as in I go to bed early. Well, some nights I scroll, obviously, because I'm human. But I don't go out on the weekends. I love to Friday nights. I literally am so traditional. I'll watch the footy. So.
Yeah, definitely. And don't get me wrong, I still love to go out on for special occasions,
get dressed
go out for nice dinners, get like fancy little mocktail. I love to go to festivals or gigs for artists that I really like to see. So I definitely still do very much those normal things that everyone does drink at. But
in your life on, a back. I guess 6 years now, true. You're very like used to the
and I think when I go to them, I appreciate it so much more now. I remember my first few gigs and festivals sober. I was like, oh my God, this is so good. I was just so high on the energy and just being able to remember the experience.
Yeah.
Because I was one of those heavy binge drinkers that would black out, not remember anything. So going to those things now, it's such a refreshing experience because I come home and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so much fun.
And you get to remember everything.
Yes. Too, whereas in the past, I'm like, what did we actually do last night?
Did we go to the festival?
Did I see a DJ? All that kind of vibe.
And you always wake up and you're like, oh no, what have I done? And I think the older we get, we're just like, that's not something that we want to accept either inside
Yeah.
of us. Something that, if you want to talk about, something
Yeah.
that kind of just made you say, all right, I'm stopping now? Or was it kind of just you got to a certain stage in your life where you were like, it's not who I want to be
Yeah.
and what I want to put out into the world?
Yeah. So I think for me, I grew up in a like turbulent household.
yeah.
So my parents divorced when I was very young.
Okay.
My mum remarried straight away. I didn't have much security. I didn't have much stability growing up. I think as well from a young age, it was very normalized to go to parties, get alcohol. My dad would buy alcohol for me when I was like 15, 16. We'd go get absolutely wasted and then come home and do that same thing every single weekend.
Yes. Or if not Thursday, Friday.
Sunday
night.
Yeah. Like I'd go out, and then in year 12, I had a fake ID. I was going to clubs. I started trying drugs as well. Growing up in Melbourne, it's such a normalized thing to do party drugs and go out. And that was just, there's
What
something
everyone
on
did.
almost every single night in Melbourne.
Yes. And it's very like after work, people will just go to bars and things in Melbourne. That's very common.
Yes. I kind of just got into that habit of just drinking every single weekend. I was extremely like insecure, really, really bad social anxiety. I started suffering from, I guess, anxiety and depression in like my early 20s, probably earlier, but I think I became more aware of it around that age. And so that would make me drink and do drugs even more to feel like comfortable in those situations.
And that is very normal. And it kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, they do. I think for me, it definitely, the two went hand in hand, and I was hanging out with party friends.
Okay.
So we'd all just get fucked up on the weekend, go on massive benders. And then I went through a breakup. Again, spiraled, went through a really hard time mentally. I was then again just partying, drinking, doing any drugs every single weekend to just kind of suppress anything I was feeling. I then moved to London for about 2 years, which was amazing experience, and I definitely look back and there's some really amazing times that I had over there, but it was very much party every single weekend.
Yes, okay.
I think for half of my time over there, I worked Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday as a nanny. So I'd have 4-day weekends every week.
Sure. So
like Thursday night was party night, Friday night recovery, Saturday night was party night, and
Sunday
then
recovery, and then
so it was just like that chain. And I actually don't think I had one weekend where I didn't drink or do drugs. Drugs was also extremely cheap over there, so it made it very easy to do, and I was hanging out with all other Australians, which when you're over there on a holiday visa, that's all you want to do is have fun and party. So after London, then I moved back to Melbourne. I definitely came home with a bit of a substance addiction after my time over there because it was so accessible and normalized and cheap. So came home. I think for a little period I was kind of off the partying because it was almost a little detox, but then I moved closer to the city again and just kind of fell back into the same thing. Then we hit COVID time, so we went into lockdown in Melbourne, and it was a really heavy lockdown. It kind of got to the stage that like I was drinking, doing drugs every weekend, but we're in lockdown, so it was at home with a housemate, or I'd find parties to go to, sneak out. So over like that year, my mental health was probably the worst it had ever been. So every weekend I was just again masking, suppressing, doing whatever I can to feel good and I guess like relieve how I was feeling. And then I think in that year, in the space of 6 months, I accidentally OD'd on GHB, which was never something that I would choose to do by choice, but I was at a party friend's house and they had it sitting in a water bottle. And GHB is a substance, it's pretty much a date rape substance, but it's a massive thing in Melbourne that a lot of people used to do because it's so cheap. And it literally is just a clear liquid. So it's in a water bottle. I was really, really drunk and drank the water bottle. And with GHB, it's something that you can't mix alcohol with because if it hits you and if you're over the smallest amount, you can OD on it. And people, a lot of people in Melbourne had OD'd. So I almost OD'd. I was at a party friend's house. They didn't tell me for 3 months. So I actually didn't know. I just randomly came back to and didn't remember anything.
Right. So you just blacked out.
Yeah, I thought I just blacked out like normal. And then I think it was like a month or two later, I went back to his place and he's like, yeah, you almost OD'd. We're on the phone to the paramedics. And I was like, what the hell? He's like, yeah, we were just going to go dump you over across the road in the park because we didn't know what to do with you. And I was like, okay, good. So that was again like very, very triggering.
Yes.
I was hanging out with people that could not give two shits about me. That happened. I feel like maybe 1 or 2 months after that, I was seeing a guy that I'd met off Tinder. And again, our first date together, we just got high, got drunk, and then he ended up sexually assaulting me one night. So that was another thing. And then I think the final kind of straw, I was just at a friend's house, just drinking. And it got to like 3 a.m. and I was like, I want to go home or I want to go find someone else to party with that has drugs. So I decided to get in my car and drive home like 45, 50 minutes when I'd been drinking for like 6 hours.
Okay. Yeah.
Got in my car, pretty much got, I think like 5 minutes down the road and drove my car head on into a pole, impounded my car, wrote my car off, and the police came and I got arrested. Like pretty much I think within that year, it was just like a snowball effect of like, how long is it going to take before.
Or what's going to happen.
Yeah. And I think it was kind of at the point where I was like, I'm somehow going to die either intentionally because I was having such bad intrusive thoughts. I was in such like a bad mental health state, or I was going to die by accidentally, again, driving or ODing or something.
Killing someone else maybe as well.
And I think that as well, that was a really big realization after. I was like, imagine if I'd killed another person and then had to live with that for the rest of my life. I feel like that would almost be like ongoing torture. So I think after the accident, I actually ended up going to a guy's house and partying for like 2 days.
Okay.
Because I was like,
so you just you didn't get caught or did you?
No, I did get caught, went to the police station. They charged me with 5 offenses. I went home and then I was like, I can't deal with this. I'm just going to go get fucked up again. Went and did that for like 24 hours. And then I was like, okay, I need to go home.
Very much a coping mechanism.
Yeah. Went home, took a sleeping tablet, slept for 12, 14 hours. And then I just remember waking up just obviously life is absolute destruction and chaos. And I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? I'd only bought my car 2-3 months before that because during COVID we could take money out of our super. So I'd done that and spent that money to buy a car outright. Car was obviously completely totaled, completely written off, got nothing for that because it was my fault. I think I ended up telling my mum and dad because I was, well, they're going to know something's wrong. They've literally just seen me buy a car.
And then they're like, what is it? Or what?
So I think I messaged both of them. Me and my mum have always had I've actually had a pretty rocky relationship with both of my parents. I told my mum and she kind of went into like, how am I going to deal with this? How am I going to tell people about this? Made it about herself and had a bit of a moment for her. And then I told my dad, and as much as me and my dad have had quite a rocky relationship and we're quite disconnected emotionally. He is very, in those situations, will kind of tell you how it is, which I think is almost what I needed. He just kind of said to me on the phone, do you think you have a problem? And it just kind of like
a reality
just like put it back onto me. And I was like, yeah, I actually think I do. And then I just spoke to him for a bit and he's like, well, what are you going to do? I was like, maybe I just need to stay sober for a bit. So originally I was like, I'm just going to stay sober for a bit and just kind of see how I feel and what happens. But I think the thing with me, I'm such an all or nothing person. As much as I wasn't a daily functioning alcoholic or addict, I definitely had a form of addiction. So I finally came to the realization, if I actually want to do this, I actually need to fully stop cold turkey. And I made that decision for myself. And from there, I did attempt to go to a few AA meetings, but I didn't find it very beneficial for me. I found it a bit culty. They wanted you to attend 90 meetings in 90 days. So every single day they wanted me to stop seeing my friends, stop going to yoga, which were the things that kind of grounded me. And I was like, if I take that away and I'm literally living, breathing AA, I'm going to be even more
that.
miserable than
Yeah.
what I am right now. I need my support system and I need the things that I actually do enjoy to kind of keep me grounded as such. The start, I immersed myself into Sobriety podcasts. So that really helped. I would just listen to them every single day. Truthfully speaking, there wasn't a whole heap back then. Yeah, nothing from Australian. I think the one podcast I found was with these Canadian girls. I just listened to that every day. I think I sought out therapy for the sexual assault, which helped again. Just kind of took those steps to, I guess, heal everything and just kind of help me stay on track. Did my yoga, immerse myself back in the gym. I've always been a gym person, but I think when you're partying and drinking, it's a bit hard to take it seriously because you're like, go to the gym 3 nights and then the weekend you're getting fucked up. Kind of doesn't really go hand in hand.
And then not eating at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat for like 2 days because I'd just be partying or hungover or vomiting for days. So then I started going to the gym. My coping mechanism for the weekends was I'd go to the gym on a Friday and Saturday night.
Good,
to keep myself busy because those were, I guess, the nights that it was probably most triggering because Friday after work I'd finish and the first thing I'd do is go home and have a wine and then like go out and get ready. So I was like, okay, I need something to
take that away.
Take that away. I think as well, thankfully, we went back into another lockdown in Melbourne, so no one could go out. So it was almost like a blessing for me that happened. As much as it was like hard sitting at home in my feelings and emotions alone, it definitely gave me that control of, okay, you're stuck here, you need to deal with this.
And you have to literally be at home and
force. So I was like, okay, we're doing this.
Have you found your relationships have changed with your friends that you obviously went through all of that with? Do you still have contact with them?
Yeah, so I found a lot of my party friends I kind of cut contact with, and it was nothing intentional towards them. I think I was very much in a stage where I was like, I need to be really selfish at the moment. And if I actually want to do this, I need to prioritize me. I reconnected with some of my old friends that I'd actually had fallings out with based around my drinking and partying, which was really nice because they were really long-term friendships that I had falling out with. So I think doing that and like opening up to the solid friends, I definitely kept my circle very, very small. I think I had 2 friends that I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing. Growing up, I was always hanging out with big groups of people. You'd go out partying and you'd know so many people and you'd all get together. And then when I kind of backed away from that, I was like, okay, I need to just focus on the people that actually want me to get better, want me to do better, and actually genuinely care about me. So that again was another realization. And it was definitely lonely because I'd go from having all these plans all weekend to, I guess, having to see my friends when they also had the time because they also have lives. And I think definitely over the past 5 years, my friendships have become very, very solid. My best friends are people that I've known for 10 years plus. They're my kind of ride or dies, but they've also seen every version of me, which is kind of crazy because when I have new people that come into my life, they only know this version and they're like, we can't imagine you being that way, because I think now I'm such like a grounded, low-key, chill, secure person, and back then I just was the complete opposite. So
crazy.
Friends now that haven't met that version, they're like, we can't like imagine that version of you. It's just so weird to comprehend. And because I'm so into like my health and fitness, all of that, they're like, what the hell?
2 comparisons of personalities.
Yeah. It's literally one extreme to the other.
Yeah. And even for you to you probably look back and are just like, wow, how did I let myself get there? How did I let myself be like that? How did I treat myself like that? Especially now, because you have done so much soul searching and healing, I guess, that you're just probably like, what the hell was I thinking? But again,
Many times.
all of those things have shaped you. So I guess as fucked as it was at that time, it is a part of your story. How beautiful that you actually made it out.
I do look back at those experiences and I'm like, I don't regret anything because it's shaped me to who I am now. I think also coming into your 30s, you have this realization that life doesn't actually end in your 30s.
It just starts really.
Yeah, and because I think my whole of my 20s were obviously so conditioned to believe that your 20s are it, that's your peak. After that, it's like a downhill, slow decline. And I think as soon as I got into my 30s and got sober and had kind of worked through everything I was suppressing, which has probably only happened in the past 2-ish years, I've actually realized, oh my God, my 30s are amazing. I'm secure. I know who I am. I don't tolerate stuff that I shouldn't.
Yes.
I'm content with my own company. I have money. Everything's so different.
Yeah. And a different mindset as well.
Oh my God,
switched all of that. So
yeah,
and
definitely.
that's beautiful to obviously have gone through it and now you are here.
Yeah.
So you obviously lived in Melbourne, and then when did you move to the Gold Coast?
So I moved to the Gold Coast March 2024. So just over 2 years ago. And that was kind of something I've wanted to do pretty much since I'd gotten back from London. So I was 28 when I moved home from London, and I was like, okay, like I want to move to the Gold Coast, but losing my license, getting my car written off, I kind of had to start from scratch again. And I was like, I don't want to move up here without a car. I wanted to do it the right way, and I didn't want to have any attachments or negative things that I would bring up here. It was a chance to kind of leave that version of me behind. So I set myself these goals. I was like, okay, after the drink driving accident, I had to go do these courses, lost my license for 2 years. I kind of took all these steps so I could make the move up here possible, got my license back, got a new car. I was in a job that I wasn't a full-time job. I was working in a gym as like a PT. So I didn't have any commitments there. My lease was ending. So it's kind of the perfect time. I'd spoken about it for years, but then I think actually doing it, I'd kind of been like, oh, I'll do it here. I'll do it here. And then I just got to the point one day that I was like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And so pretty much a month before my lease ended, I'm like, right, I'm moving up to the Gold Coast. I started researching areas. I started selling my stuff and just started putting all the steps in place. That was like the final chapter of my Melbourne life. And then I knew coming up here was a fresh start. I was like, it's my chance to actually start fresh. To not have to, I guess, be surrounded by things that I guess almost in a way like triggered me. Even when I go down to Melbourne now, I sometimes feel a little bit triggered.
Okay, that was going to be another question. It's like when you do go home to visit people or visit your family, are you still finding that your mind sort of slips back, or you even just being home where it happened? Is that triggering?
It's like a little bit, but it's more in the sense that I go back and this place just holds nothing for me anymore. And I do have senses of anxiety and stuff a little bit, but I think it's because Melbourne's just so hectic in comparison to up here. Up here's so slow paced, so chilled, so relaxing, whereas there it's not.
No.
Either way, it's just a totally different environment. I love going down and seeing my friends and family, but definitely I know that my home is up here. And moving up here was such a big goal of mine, a big part of my sobriety as well, because it was kind of like me just piecing the pieces of the puzzle together of what I actually wanted to do and how I wanted to build my life.
And what you needed as well.
I had this vision board for so long. Every single year it would be the same thing. It would be the Gold Coast, like an aeroplane, a golden retriever puppy, working for myself.
Love that.
Like just those things. And I'm like, I've actually been able to do that. If I wasn't sober, I don't think I would have achieved those things. I would have just been living in the same loop. I've paid off debts that I had for years. I paid off my car, things that I never thought I could achieve. When I was drinking and partying, I was in such a negative mindset and tried not to play the victim. But I think when you're so broken as such, it's hard not to be in that victim mentality. So I think just being up here definitely changed that. And I've got to almost, I guess, rewrite my story a bit and live it for me. I think that's why I've liked my 30s so much, because I'm like authentically for me. And that's such a nice thing to experience as well.
Because everything is energy. So when you live authentically, the rest of the world listens.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So dating, how are you finding that? Here on the Gold Coast? I guess that's a whole nother ball game, but.
So I guess when I first got sober, dating sober was the scariest thing in the world to me, because I was the type of person, I would go on a date, I would drink a whole bottle of wine before, I'd be absolutely buzzing, but also kind of drunk before I got to the date. Some dates went very, very rogue when I was drinking, because I would just get drunk and I'd be like, oh, let's go to a club. Let's do this. Let's go out. It would almost be my excuse to just party. I'd drag random guys, or I'd just get wasted and just go off on my own. Whereas dating sober, I definitely tolerated a lot more. But then I think very quickly I came to realize, like, I would go on dates with guys and within 5 minutes I'd be like, no, not for me. Whereas when I would drink, I'd go on all these dates with guys and I'd be like, oh my God, that was so amazing. But because I'd be like wasted the whole time. Everyone's amazing when you're wasted.
Rose-colored glasses.
Oh, literally. So going sober, you actually see people for who they are. It was definitely very anxiety inducing at the start, because I don't think I'd ever been on a sober date, to be honest, until I got sober and had no choice. But I feel now, obviously so far down the track, it's definitely something that I'm very selective with. I feel like my standards are up here.
As they should be.
Which is so good, because I think definitely when I was younger, when you're in your 20s, when I was immersed in the party scene, my standards were so low. I had no self-confidence, nothing like that. That's definitely another thing sobriety has given me, that self-confidence and standards not to accept things that I should. And as I said, when I was using, I went out with a guy who ended up assaulting me. So I would put myself in these situations with people that now I would not look twice at, because I'm like, I can tell you're a red flag. I'm staying far, far away from that. I think back, I kind of just wanted someone to love me and save me, because I didn't really feel that growing up from my parents. So there was that insecurity of, if I meet someone, they'll give me that, then I'll feel whole.
Dependent on,
on
finding that.
Again, getting sober, you realize you need to give that to yourself. No one else is going to give that to you. So it's definitely been a very eye-opening thing. I think now I've been single for like 11 years. I don't go on dates very often because up here the dating scene is terrible. And the Gold Coast is small, definitely in comparison to Melbourne. So there's not as many people, or you're dating a guy that's gone on a date with someone that you potentially know, or you'll hear a story. I love the Gold Coast. It's such an amazing place, but there is a lot of ego standards, and I find guys, I don't know, they just don't treat girls how they should be. There's no standards there.
Sitting very in their feminine.
Take me out to dinner. How hard is that? Ages ago, maybe last year, before I got Honey, because I remember I didn't take her with me. I usually take her on dates.
That's a really good thing. Like, okay, well, I've got to go.
Because if it's shit, I need to go, I just blame it on the dog. But I went on a date with the guy and he's like, oh, let's go for a coffee and walk. And some people complain about coffee and walk dates, but I love it, because if I don't like them, I can cut that walk super, super short. I can be like, all right, my steps are in, I'm going home. Met him for a coffee and walk. I'm waiting for him. He gets there and he's like, oh, I've had my coffee at home, but you go grab yours. So he ushers me off to go buy my own coffee.
Oh, wow, okay. Yeah.
So I do. And yeah, it was just like, you can't even buy me like a $6 coffee.
Isn't that why you went? You were going on a coffee walk date.
So I was like, okay. I do find it's very, very uncommon for guys here to ask you out on dinner dates. Even if you have been talking to them for a while, they're just in their feminine energy and they just don't have initiative to actually go forward and do that. So I think because of that, I almost put dating on the back burner, because I'm like, I look after myself, I finance myself, I have my pets that I adore. Unless a man comes to me and gives me something that I don't already have, what's the point? I'm very busy. If you want to come into this, it better be for a good reason.
Gonna put it here in my calendar.
If you can't fit into my like hot girl walk, my Pilates, my content creation, honey and Roo, then
sorry. But that's like a beautiful thing too, because it means obviously you're so secure in who you are. As you said, anything else that comes into your life has to be an addition or has to be more beneficial, because otherwise what's the point in altering something that is so steady and calm for you, that someone coming in and rocking that boat, why would you do it? It just does not make sense.
And I think, again, with the sobriety thing and linking it back to that, my standards have grown, and I'm like, I've done so much for myself. I look at them and I think, are they bettering themselves? Because I don't want to, I guess, get into a relationship or a partnership with someone where they don't have that strong vision to be and do better. I'm a very driven person and very self-aware. I also want that in a partner. I don't want them just kind of...
No, they have to match your energy. Your morals, any of those things. Have you ever thought about if you went back into a relationship and then they brought out things that triggered you? Are you scared of that ever happening? Obviously, I know you're a very strong woman. You would not accept it, but is that still something that you ever think about? And maybe there's qualities in somebody that you're like, I couldn't go there.
Yeah, definitely. I feel I had this thought recently. What if I start dating someone and they take my freedom, or I lose that sense of self? I've seen that in people around me. They get into a relationship and they just completely lose themselves and lose their self-identity. I'm so aware that I don't ever want to do that. I do hope that having that awareness around that would stop that from happening. I definitely think there will be things that trigger me, because I've never had a healthy relationship. So if it is a person that treats me right, I'm going to be like, what's the ulterior motive here? Like, how am I going to enjoy this? Even a girlfriend of mine recently, she's dating someone new and he just got her flowers because, just sent her because flowers. And she's like, what are these for? And he's like, just because. And she's like, I've never like gotten just because flowers. What is this? But you question it. And he filled up her car with petrol and picked her up and had the flowers on the back seat. Like,
that's a bit cute.
I know. I was like, that is so nice. I think we're so used to not having that sense of standard or love that we always kind of question it. And I also think society's made us think that those things are big grand gestures, whereas they're things I do for one of my best friends. If she was having a day, or just to tell her that I love her.
It's like the bare minimum. Isn't it?
So I'm like, if you're going to do it for your best friends, then why should a partner not want to do it for you? But I definitely do have like that fear in some sense.
Do you think that maybe that has held you off from dating a little bit, in the fact of opening yourself up? Because obviously you have been through such a big journey already and you're still so young. You have to be willing to have somebody who can accept that / also want to love you and move forward with you. Do you feel that maybe that could be holding you back?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. It's almost like a unconscious thing that you're not aware of. It sounds so funny, but it's almost like feel sometimes I could potentially be cock blocking myself. Or I've spoken to guys and I know that I've probably self-sabotaged before I've even gotten to the date part, because I'm like, oh, what if this, what if that? And because I am so used to being on my own now and in my little bubble of just me, I'm like, okay, how do I let someone into this?
That? Definitely.
And what if I don't want them to change me? I don't want them to change themselves. Any of that kind of thing. So it's definitely something I think about, and I probably have self-sabotaged myself in certain circumstances. But then I'm also like, if something's right, it's going to stick.
Literally what I was about to say. If you know yourself so much, somebody who comes in, you'll know it straight away. And when I met my partner, I just knew. And the funny thing you were saying about your girlfriend, it's too good to be true. That is 100% what I thought about my partner. But like, I didn't meet him until I was 30. Again, you just assume, why are you being like this? It's too good to be true. But it can be. That's the other thing. It can be, and it is okay to be like that, because there are humans in the world that will love you to the fucking rooftops and past that. And it's meant to be like that.
Yeah. I think it's harder for me to see that in men. I'd see it in so many amazing women that I'm surrounded by, but it's harder to come across in guys. And because I've not necessarily experienced that myself in guys, and I've had so many bad experiences of being ghosted by someone I've seen, being like breadcrumbed, or them disappearing for 2 years and then they're like, oh, I'm going to just come back and just fuck your life up again. Kind of, I guess, opening myself up to that possibility and not closing myself off. I think I do tend to put myself in this protective little bubble because it's safe in here. I like it. I've set up this nice little life for myself, which is probably why I do the same walk every day, go to the same cafe every day.
Yeah, repetition.
Yeah. I like having that routine. And when I was partying, I never had stability.
No.
I've lived in almost 50 different houses. So now that I have that stability here, the thought of that ever going away is something that I never want to have to lose.
Could also be triggering.
Yeah.
Because it's uncertainty. It's like, what happens if this, it's the what if.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm such an overthinker. I like to have it all planned out in my head. I'm trying to
walk the same walk every day.
I'm like, surely I'll meet my husband just on my walk or at my cafe.
What do they say? You're laying in bed watching Netflix, you just expect he's going to knock on.
That's why some weekends I'm like, okay, I need to be social and actually leave the house, because unless the universe does just plop my partner on my doorstep, I need to be somewhat proactive and actively look. Just put myself in situations that I could open to meeting someone. Just like my 4 friends.
Just fine. But
I'm very much a quality over quantity, especially now.
Yeah. And I think obviously going through all of that, and also our ages, we just get to a point. We don't have the time / energy to do anything.
And another thing I find when I hang out with certain people, you know, when you have that feeling of walking away and you're like, oh, my energy's a little bit drained. I'm really conscious and aware of that. I have friends, my best friends that I see, I could spend so much time and they'll bring you up. But there is certain people that you'll catch up with, and afterwards you're like, okay, I need to decompress and just sit by myself.
Notice that as well. If I'm in situations, my body tends to start yawning a lot, which is your body's coping mechanism. They just drained you of everything you had, and now you were exhausted. And I've come home and slept like for hours afterwards, and Sean's like, are you okay?
I'm energetically drained. I need to recharge myself.
Definitely. And it's funny, it's not until you've done all of that soul searching, lived experiences, life basically, where we can actually acknowledge that. There's lots of people who are not self-aware. They do not understand that whole energy level of life. And that can be challenging sometimes, I find, because I'm so aware of that, and I'm such an empath as well. So I'm so selective on when or who I see, and if I'm not in a state that I think I can, I'll just be at home. The maximum capacity is like, I just want to hang out with Honey. She's almost like my little energizer safety. Just being aware of that and being like, okay, do I have the capacity for this? Or am I going to take this on? Or... And I also feel that that is very mature. Because why would we want to give our downed energy to somebody else? That's how I see it as well. Because it's kind of doing them a service. Because we'd be doing ourselves a disservice by doing that as well. And again, it's a boundary, and it's like we're not crossing it for ourselves.
Self-awareness. Sometimes a blessing, sometimes a curse, because there's times where I'm like, okay, I think I'm too self-aware.
Really, that's me too. I'm like, okay, cool. I'd love to just be a little bit Delulu in a way of like airy fairy.
I definitely have days like that. The joys of being self-aware and knowing everything that's going on with me, and or why I'm feeling
literally watching everyone else around and just picking up on other people's energy. Like that's also what I do. I'm a watcher.
So am I. I'm a big observer.
Like even if we were sitting here right now, if you were feeling nervous, I would sense that, and I would try and do something to make you feel comfortable. All right. If you could go back to yourself at the start, before all of this happened, before you went in your journey of what you probably see now is not such a positive experience, what would you say to yourself?
I think I would just go back and be like, it is going to be okay. when I think back to myself, especially in my 20s, I was such a lost person and I didn't think that it could get better. Like you're stuck in that cycle of, well, this is just life.
My
This
life,
is how
yeah.
I've got to live it. This is what I've got to do. That fight
What
or
I've been
flight all
handed.
the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And I think reminding yourself it can get better. And also, if you actually really want something, you're capable of achieving so much. There's no limit to what you can do with your life. Just believing in yourself and having the ability to, I guess, push through those hard times, but also reminding yourself that it's okay to not have it together all the time.
Yeah.
And that's something I still need to remind myself now. If I have off days or days that I don't have it all together.
Yeah.
Just being a bit kinder to yourself and being like, okay, today's a shitty day. I'm going to let myself feel it. And then tomorrow's a new day. Just realizing it does get better. You can do whatever you put your mind to.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. You were so young then.
Yeah.
So life hadn't shown you all of these journeys.
Yeah. And when that's all you know, you don't think there's anything better.
And you don't question it, right?
No,
Like you just
don't.
like, this is it.
Yeah. Until I guess you do the work yourself and realize that there's actually more to life. That's when you start to realize. Once I got a taste of that, I was like, fuck ever going back to that because there's not a chance. And I think that's why I am still sober. People ask me all the time, do you ever think you'll drink again? And honestly, I just don't see it for myself. I have no desire. I live my life way more now than I ever got to.
And you were drinking.
I'm not missing anything. I'm missing out on a hangover.
That's it.
I'm like, I'm good. Whereas my Sundays, I wake up fresh. I go do sunrise. It's a nice feeling.
And it's all a choice, isn't it? Choosing to do that. But again, those choices are benefiting you and your future and your present, basically.
Yeah. So. And obviously, I'm an adult. If I wanted to do it, I could. There's been many occasions where I've been out and I'm surrounded by alcohol, but I just could not care less. I love going out for a nice dinner and just getting a little mocktail to get a cute photo. But then apart from that, give me the food and then get me home to bed in my jammies in bed
with honey,
watching a movie or something. I am so good.
Back to your little bubble.
I love it there. I love my bubble. Maybe too much sometimes, but hey, we're getting better. It's kind of branching out, I think.
What star sign are you?
A Virgo.
Are you? Yes, that's crazy. Just the things you were saying, that's very much like my star sign. How you were saying, I like to stay home, your routine, all this. I'm like, okay, she's a Virgo. I just had a feeling.
Virgos can be extroverted, but they're also quite introverted people. I feel I'm an extroverted introvert.
Yes.
So around my people and when I'm in my environment, I can be so extroverted.
Yes.
I know what I want. I'll say whatever. But then in new environments where I'm unsure, I observe a lot. I'm very quiet. And then once I feel comfortable, I want to give more, then I'll give more. Yeah,
that's the same. I saw this meme the other day and it was like, I feel sad for you if you feel I'm not a fun person, but you haven't experienced my 98 personalities. And I'm like, that is literally, if I feel comfortable with you, I will open up to you. I'll tell you anything ridiculous. Laugh, we'll do that. But if not, I do see where people are probably like, oh, she's a bit snobby.
I think people think that about me. They think I'm like a bitch or standoffish, but either I'm just really shy or I'm not vibing.
Yeah, that's also me. If something feels awkward, we're going to feel awkward. No matter what. So then I'm like, like I'm nervous. But like,
I get really overstimulated in really loud new environments. If the lighting's off, the sound's off, the environment's off, my senses are going wild and I'm like, I need to go back to my bubble now. But then if, like with my close people or like people or environments that I feel safe, I'm like open book.
And I think it's a beautiful way to be as well.
Yeah.
Also, it shows those people that you can be yourself and you literally are opening up to them and they make you feel that way. Voicing that to them is a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
to let them know
definitely.
that you do feel comfortable. You're not like that with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even I've slowly told one of my housemates things about me and she's like, what the hell? She's like, would not expect this. She's like, you've got so many layers, Kim. I'm like, yeah, literally.
And it's crazy, even just sitting down with me today and going back over that.
Yeah.
You just probably would have been like, wow. And now you're here and you're sitting in front of me and you are just not that same person.
Yeah,
It's
it is
just like a
crazy. It
realization
is
of-
crazy looking back on.
Yeah.
Even when I look at old photos and stuff of myself in my 20s, I'm like, who the hell is that
Who
person?
is that? Yeah.
Like,
And again, you probably wouldn't recognize yourself.
no.
I have
Not
a
at all.
reel going out in the next couple of days, but it's like June me from last year and June me this year. If we sat down for a coffee, we wouldn't even recognize each other. And that's only 12 months. Like, it's crazy to think what. So if you come across a person who is maybe thinking about becoming sober, but they're feeling a little bit scared, unsure that they want to take that path, what is something that you would say that would maybe encourage them or help them?
I say definitely, if it's something that they've thought about seriously, to take the plunge. Surround yourself with people that are going to support your decision, because there's, I guess, people that you're probably going to say that are like, oh, but why? And just be really sure and secure in the choice that you're making. And don't do it for anyone else. I think when I got to the part of my sobriety, when I made the decision to go sober, I wasn't doing it because anyone else wanted me to.
True.
I was doing it because I genuinely need to do this for myself. Being extremely sure of that. Ways in like managing it, invest in your hobbies, find new hobbies, find things that you love doing that are going to help you through that experience. Surround yourself with people that are going to support you and back you and not question you. I'd always have, I guess, in the early stages, like exit plans of if I was in places that I'd start to feel uncomfortable, having an exit plan to leave, not feeling bad for wanting to leave, especially social environments if I was around lots of partying or drinking, and just reminding myself that this is for me and not for anyone else. Personally, I'm the type of person, if I want to do something, I like to immerse myself into that. So if it's, say, social media, I like to be learning a lot about that, or listening to podcasts, or finding things that help that process. So as I said, when it was the early days, I was listening to sobriety podcasts to
help at least.
And just to hear stories and learn about other people that had potentially gone through it. I think that's kind of it.
Hey, perfect. I feel like this conversation is going to sit well with so many people who have either, like you said, thought about it, just maybe not wanted to take that step or didn't know how to take that step. So I really want to say thank you for coming, opening up and telling us your story, and also being so vulnerable, because as we've heard, that was a very large life experience that you went through. But at the end of it, look at who you are today. Like, you are so beautiful, and your soul and your aura, you can tell that it is made to what you want it to be made. And that is so powerful as a woman to another woman. That is very, very attractive to have.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time.
That's all right.
Really appreciate
Thanks for having me and listen to me yuck on for a bit.
We could have seriously went for a lot.
I know, I was going to say, I feel like we probably could have gone on for a while, but it's like, all right, let's cut it here. Otherwise, I could be here all day.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. If there's something that has helped you or triggered you in this scenario, there are always places that you can reach out for help. We are here to open our inboxes. Obviously, if you're going through something, you're not alone. You will make it through and it will be okay. Thank you for joining us.